With the 2022 draft wrapped up, today I want to look all the way to next year's draft and do a way too early mock. This should be a lot of fun. As you guys have seen, we've got a lot of content coming out right now, and that's not going to change anytime soon with free agency and the summer league coming up, so trust me, you want to be subscribed, and let's get into this. Now, one of the tougher things to figure out for this video is what's going to be the order of the draft. In a few months, we'll have Vegas win totals, which we can go off, but for now, we're just going to have to guess who's at the bottom of the league, but I still think we have a pretty clear idea. Surprise, surprise, I wouldn't expect it to be too different than what we saw this past year. Thunder, Rockets, Magic, Pistons, Kings, Pacers, all teams, despite having really promising futures, we should expect to have top 10 lottery odds. Then you've got other teams like the Wizards and the Spurs that I still expect to be up there, but after that it gets a lot closer. You're talking about teams like the Blazers, Knicks, and Hornets. So what I ended up doing for the order, which really doesn't matter too much for this video, is I randomized those 6 teams at the bottom, which gave me an order of Pistons, Magic, Thunder, Rockets, Kings, and Pacers. After that I'm going Spurs, Wizards, then New York, Charlotte. While it seems odd to have both those teams inside the top 10, our other options are Cleveland, Utah, Minnesota, Atlanta, so I think you get how we got to this order. But kicking off with number 1, that's in the hands of the Detroit Pistons, and man, is this an exciting scenario. They're a team that can definitely surprise a lot of people. It's just hard to project them racking up too many wins just yet, despite a really exciting future after what they pulled off in the most recent draft. Cade Cunningham, their number 1 pick from a year ago, is the real deal. Now, they just added 2 incredible prospects in Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren. But here at number 1, they're going to form one of the scariest young cores we've ever seen. There's some mocks out there that like to get cute and have a different player at number 1, but based on everything we know and everything we've seen so far, it's really hard to imagine we hear a different name called than French 7'2" center Victor Wembanyama. Now, it takes you about 5 seconds to realize why scouts are drooling over him as a prospect. He's 7'2", as we just mentioned, with the closest thing to a wing offensive skill set we've ever seen from someone at a frame like this, with rim protecting abilities that resemble Rudy Gobert. In a lot of ways, he's very similar to a young Kristaps Porzingis with his size and smooth jump shot that extends way beyond the perimeter, but that comparison doesn't do him justice. I've never seen a 7-footer this skilled with the ball in his hands. Sure, he's still pretty raw, but just given his game-breaking potential, he will be the number 1 pick. Joining Cade and Jaden Ivey, I think NBA fans would be on the edge of their seat to see what the trio is capable of. The Orlando Magic, the team that just landed the number 1 overall pick, Paolo Banchero, is back at the top of the draft and really in a perfect spot given their roster. I think it's pretty clear they're going to be looking to add to their backcourt in this spot. They've got 2 options, G League Ignite point guard Scoot Henderson or Arkansas shooting guard Nick Smith. Based on how close these prospects are right now, I think their decision is going to be heavily affected by what we see out of Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs this year, and I've got a feeling that at least one of them is going to show enough promise for them to pass on point guard and go with Nick Smith. Smith was the top-ranked guard coming out of high school, graduating as the 3rd-ranked player in the country. He's just 6'4", but plays much bigger than that with his 6'9" wingspan, basically identical to recent top pick Jaden Ivey. Now his players are much different. Ivey's insane burst really carries his offensive game right now, while Nick Smith is nothing to laugh at as an athlete, but it's his pure scoring talent and lights out shooting that are making him one of the most talked about prospects in the country right now. Going to an Arkansas team that projects to be one of the better teams in the country, I'm excited to see what he can do. Joining Banchero and Franz Wagner, man, would the league be in a good place with all these insane young cores being built. The Oklahoma City Thunder are at 3, and they're a hard team to project wins-wise, just because we don't know what this front office wants to do. After getting Chet, are they going to settle down on the tank, sign some veterans, and try to put together a solid season? Or will they do what they've done the last couple years, and anytime someone stubs their toe, they shut them down for the year? But here at 3, they're kind of in a weird spot. It appears that there's a top player on the board in Scoot Henderson, but I'm not sure the Thunder are really in the market for a 6'2" point guard this high in the draft right now. I've got them going with Derek Whitehead. Whitehead is a 6'6" small forward that was a 2nd-ranked player in the country and is going to be headed to Duke this season. Now obviously, if the Thunder extend Dort and hit on one of these wings they just drafted in the most recent draft, they could go a different direction, but honestly, you can't have enough wings, especially with the talent of a guy like Whitehead. Early on in his career, most of the attention was due to his freakish athleticism and versatility on defense. But now after showing a lot of progress as a scorer, especially as a shooter, it's looking like he's a very likely top pick in the upcoming draft, and with a solid season at Duke, he has a legit chance to go even higher. The 4th overall pick is in the hands of the Houston Rockets, and this has to be a dream scenario for them as they land the top point guard in the class, Scoot Henderson. With an extremely promising end of the season for Jalen Green, and recently landing the arguable top prospect in the draft, Jabari Smith, Houston's future is looking incredible. You add Scoot to the mix, and it makes them scary. The age of a high schooler, Scoot Henderson was actually a part of the G League Ignite this past year, where he was impressive. He averaged 15, 5, and 4, and with another year of development under his belt, scouts are expecting big things. The 6'2", 6'3" point guard has a rock-solid frame with the explosiveness we look for at the NBA level. Driving to the basket is where he really thrives. If we see significant improvement as a shooter, he's going to be a lock for a top 5 selection. I really think his well-rounded game and ability to run the offense would just make a beautiful backcourt, pairing him with Jalen Green. The 5th overall pick is in the hands of the Sacramento Kings, my biggest loser of the 2022 draft. I really don't know what direction this roster is headed, but here at 5, I got them going with one of the Thompson twins, Sir Thompson. Both of the twins are getting serious attention for the top 10 in next year's draft. They both have elite size standing at 6'7", are great athletes, and with them playing alongside each other their whole entire careers, they've really built a positionless skill set. But with Sir typically leaning a little bit more towards being a true wing, I've got him coming off the board first to the Kings. Now the twins actually decided to take a very unique route. This upcoming season, they won't be playing in college basketball, they won't be playing in the G League, they won't even be playing overseas. They're going to be playing in the new Overtime Elite League. It's going to be interesting to see how much scouts factor in their production in a new league like this. The Pacers are at 6, and they're going to be going with the other half of the twins, Amen Thompson. He's really taken on the point forward role in the past, but as we've already said, both the twins aren't locked into a position. I don't think Indiana is going to have any problem fitting him in alongside Tyrese and Mathurin. 7 is in the hands of the Spurs, who have a really interesting offseason ahead. They just landed a great draft haul, getting Jeremy Sohan, Malachi Branham, and Blake Wesley, but the rumors are heating up. They might be trading their franchise point guard DeJounte Murray. In that event, I could see them holding a much higher pick than this, but here at 7, I've got them going with Villanova forward Cam Whitmore. Whitemore's versatility on the defensive end is what's getting scouts so excited about his chance to be a perfect modern NBA 4. He plays well above the rim and is unstoppable in transition, but we're going to have to see him show a little bit more as a shot creator this year at Villanova if he's going to hold on to his current stock or even go higher. The 8th overall pick belongs to the Wizards. They're going to go with the number 1 ranked prospect in the country, heading to Duke, 7'1" center, Derek Lively. There's no question he has the size. He's a force in the interior on both ends, but as his progress over the last year is starting to extend his game further and further from the basket, that has him legitimately in the conversation to go inside the top 5 in next year's draft. But as we've seen in recent years, center prospects are given a lot less slack, and rightfully so, with how much we demand from them in the modern game. There's going to be a lot of pressure on him to perform at Duke this year. The 9th overall pick belongs to the Knicks. They're a wild card. They could land someone like Jalen Brunson and possibly sneak back into the playoffs, or they could be in a spot like this again after a disappointing year. But here at 9, I've got them going with one of my favorite prospects currently that I really think, when it's said and done, is going to be going much higher than this, and that's Anthony Black, 6'7" point guard, going to Arkansas. Man, is the duo of him and Nick Smith going to be something special in college basketball next year. Right now, they're my dark horse to win it all. He has legit potential to be a point guard at the NBA level with his handling and gifted court vision, but you pair that with a very solid jumper and a 6'7" frame, and I think you see why he has some of the most upside in the entire draft that should put him in top 5 consideration a year from now. For the last pick of the video, we've got the Charlotte Hornets going with Texas wing Dylan Mitchell. It's unclear if the Hornets are going to be able to hold on to Miles Bridges this offseason, but regardless, after getting their big in Mark Williams, I like them going in this direction. He's one of the most jaw-dropping athletes in this class that going to Texas is going to be one of the vocal points of their offense, like a lot of guys in this range. If the perimeter production is there, he's going to be a no-brainer lottery selection. But that's the video, guys. This was a lot of fun, but it was also tough. All these guys were top prospects. All these guys dominated high school basketball. While we still have a pretty good idea of who to pay attention to, we really have to wait till next season to know these guys' true strengths and weaknesses. There's going to be prospects like Jaden Hardy that fly down the board, and there's going to be ones like Jaden Ivey that fly up the board. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.